It's an all-out debacle here inside the Bitcoin chart. And right here, right now, are we starting to see warning signs that may in fact concern the entire market cycle. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto Kirby here, your cryptocurrency expert, back with another edition of the daily live stream. What is going on, my friends? Today I'd like to discuss Bitcoin and the action we're seeing inside the chart right now. I'd like to discuss this move with Bitcoin being rejected at 11,000 and plunging far below the $10,000 region right now. But more importantly, I want to also look at the altcoin market in comparison to the Bitcoin market, because I'm seeing a very, very interesting correlation here that may in fact just be flashing the largest warning sign of all in concern of the market cycle bubble pop scenario that would in fact bring Bitcoin back down to the pre-parabolic levels, which many a moon boy don't want to talk about. But as you all know, if you are subscribed here, we keep it real. We talk about the realistic scenarios here, and if this is in fact a possibility, I do not want to be overlooking this scenario. So as a full-time trader, I'd like to discuss with you my strategy, my game plan, and how I plan to crush this market right now in the immediate term. So without any further ado, you guys already know the deal. If you like these daily crypto videos and nightly live streams, smack that thumbs up button, click the subscribe, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Moon the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Moon them up. All right, so we'll begin with our Bitcoin technical analysis. And of course, before we begin, this is not investment advice, this is not trading advice. These are only my own opinions, ideas, and speculative hypotheses on the market. Always do your own research and your own due diligence before investing or trading, as this market is extremely high risk, and I am not your financial advisor. I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments. That being said, let's take a look here at the immediate move. Clearly, we've been rejected at 11,000. Hickory dickory dock. Don Carbanaccio shorted the absolute top. If you guys are subscribed here or you are in my VIP, you would know that I laddered shorts all the way up past the $11,000 region, caught the top, shorted it down, and currently I still am in my position right now. So I still am short at this point in time. Now, what are we seeing here in terms of support, right? So we are at a level here, roughly at the time of recording, we're consolidating between 9,800 to 9,500. Pretty nice little range here. Once we dropped below this white line, ladies and gentlemen, which was our prior low here, it was just off to the races to the downside. And right now I am expecting that this white line, which falls for me at about 10,100, is probably going to look to be a new resistance level, right? We've seen the flips time and time again here, right? First it was support, then it was resistance, then it broke. Tested as support again, held. Tested as support, held, failed. Tested as resistance, and now we've plunged. So for me right now, ladies and gentlemen, if we are to test back up, I would be keeping my eye on the $10,100 region here for a potential new rejection point. If we get through there, well, maybe the bulls may find some momentum. But as we all know, right now, we are still in a bearish structure of lower highs and lower lows, right? And for the time being, we now have 3 lower highs stuck in here on the chart right now, 3 lower lows. Are we going to make a 4th lower low? That is what is yet to be seen, but that is what the bears are looking for at this point in time. If they do not create a new lower low right now, meaning that the bottom for the time being gets stuck in here, what we'd have to look for is the beginning stages of a symmetrical triangle to build us up here, right? Where we'd want to see something more so along the lines of this and look to create a neutral pattern here to help us potentially get back up and look to break out to create a new higher high. That is what I'm looking at here in the short term. Right now, I'm trading this aggressively, and I am keeping you all updated in VIP with every trade that I make every step of the way in absolute real time. So if you'd like to see all of my trades, just like how I shorted all the way up to the top of this trend here, I will be keeping you updated with that in VIP. Let's get this crypto. But now I want to get to the meat and potatoes of the macro trend here. I want to really look at the trend as a whole here. All right, so let's go over to the BLX. This combines data from many different exchanges into one, right? So we'll look at this, and then we're going to look at the altcoin market, and then Bitcoin and altcoin combined in terms of market cap. All right, so this is just Bitcoin for the time being. As you can see here, I have our Fibonacci retracements pulled up from the bottom of the bear market to our current swing high. Right now, Bitcoin has tested down to this 0.382 Fibonacci retracement. And this is where it starts to get interesting, because we did test down to it originally and bounced. Test down to it, overshot a little bit and bounced. But what's really concerning to me now is that we are failing to get up from here, right? We're failing to create new higher highs. So for me, the next logical target is the next Fibonacci retracement, which right now is the 0.5. And the 0.5 lines up at a very unique spot, right? It's roughly at our old peak here, which did act as a tentative resistance zone along the way up, which now may tentatively flip into new support, capiche? And what's even more interesting about this level, which falls at roughly 8,500, is the fact that when we go over to the Bitcoin futures chart, the CME futures here, we can see that our gap here on the CME futures chart is roughly in this $8,500 vicinity. Let's get this crypto. So right now, this gap doesn't have to fill, but many gaps inside this chart have been filled, ladies and gentlemen. It has been an absolute recipe for I don't know, whatever you'd like to say. It's just happened time and time again that these gaps have filled. So for me right now, with the failure here in the Bitcoin chart, after bouncing off of this Fibonacci retracement twice already, the next logical target for me is to test down to that next level, and that next level also coincides here with that gap in the CME. For me right now, this is looking like a very logical target in my opinion. Of course, that's not financial advice, that's not investment advice or trading advice. It is only my own opinion and speculative hypothesis. I'll never tell you what to do with your trades or investments. But as I told you, I am still short now from 11,000 and all of these other ladders that you see here. And that is my logical target at this point in time. Now, let's discuss what happens after that, right? Because I see a lot of people also sharing the sentiment with me here that, this is a logical target area. But what happens there, right? From what I'm seeing is that all the moon boys think that has to be the bottom, right? Oh, so the gap will fill, Kirby, and then I'm going all in, and we're going to the moon. All right, James, chill out your giblets there, my friend, because I think that's very rudimentary to just look at it like that. That's only going one level deep, right? You all know Don Carbanaccio likes to stay one step, two steps ahead of every other trader, bot, algorithm, and degenerate inside this market. So let's dive deeper and go into level 2, all right? So now, let's say we do fill that gap and test down to this 0.5 Fibonacci, where we also see all of this historic price confluence, which may now act as new support as well. If it breaks, ladies and gentlemen, the next target zone here, right, is the 0.618 golden Fibonacci retracement. And this, for me, my friends, is a very important line. One, it's the most powerful Fibonacci retracement. That is the golden, right? 618 is the golden level. And we see I've extended this green line here. And look at all of the confluence throughout Bitcoin's history here of support to resistance flips all along the way here, and then peaks and everything, right? You see this. And it all coincides here with that 0.618, all right? Now, keep this in mind, because I'm going to go over now to the altcoin market cap chart, and we got to look at some things here, okay? So right now, my first target is that gap fill at the 0.5 Fibonacci, around 8,500. Second target, if that's purged, right? If we don't find support and moon from there, my second target would be this 0.618, right? And this is more so down around the $7,200 region. Now, let's couple this in with some data from the altcoin charts. If we go over here now, this is excluding Bitcoin. This is altcoins only. I want to look at the same type of chart here with our Fibonacci's. pulled up from the bottom of the bear market to the top of our current swing high. And I want you to notice where we are at right now, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look. Ding, ding, ding. Chicken wings for dinner, tofu if you're vegan. The altcoin market cap chart here crashed down and bounced off the 0.618 Fibonacci. So now we all know that during this whole market cycle here for Bitcoin, right, where our euphoric run from the depths of the crypto abyss at 3,000 all the way up to the moon at 14,000, the altcoins were the front runners, right? And all these moon boys, don't try and twist this around now, moon boys, because the whole time, oh, Kirby, you should be looking at Litecoin because Litecoin is leading the pack, Kirby, it's leading the pack. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, so this is why I'm looking at the interesting correlation here. The altcoins led the rally, and the altcoins right now are correcting or dropping, however you'd like to categorize it, at a faster pace than Bitcoin as well. Also, we're seeing Bitcoin dominance now take a little bit of a dump. Not much, but a little bit. And the altcoins right now are also front-running Bitcoin again here in terms of the sell-off. And what's interesting is the charts look nearly identical, right? Do they not? They look very, very similar. But the main concern here for me is that Bitcoin is only at the 0.5 Fibonacci right now. The altcoins have already touched the 0.618. Now, keep this all in mind, and let's go over to our other altcoin chart here, which now includes Bitcoin. This is now all the altcoins that they're including in this, and Bitcoin. And as you can see here, we currently right now are still only at this area here of roughly 0.5, and our 0.6 falls within this very beautiful area of confluence for me here. And as you can see, again, I've extended this white line out here. The whole red box is fair game for me with our 0.618 confluence right in the middle of it. But then also at the top of the box, I've extended the white line because we have a beautiful double bottom confluence here as well. And we can see that this whole area for me, ladies and gentlemen, looks like a complete market cycle retracement back down to the average, right? Anywhere in here would look, in my opinion, like a complete market cycle bubble pop. And I mean, that is a pretty heinous correction if you do, in fact, ask me. If we use our price range tool and we pull it from the top of the swing high down to that 0.618 Fibonacci, ladies and gentlemen, that is roughly a 47.5% move. Heinous, savage, and a borderline ludicrous debacle, if you do in fact ask me. And this is what you get in a market cycle, right? Now, to me, this would be very, very healthy if this is in fact the case here. And why? Because if we completed a whole cycle down to this region, right? We've completed all of it here, right? The euphoria, the disbelief, the optimism, all of it, the complacency, the anxiety, the denial, oh! Many moon boys will get wrecked here. They'll have sold the bottom again. They'll have bought the top again. But this, my friends, opens the door for a new cycle to begin all over again, right? Except what if this time we begin the cycle starting around this region, starting between 6,000 and 7,000, and do it all over again? You see where my head is at, right? You see how Don Carbaraccio is thinking about this trend. This is how a realistic moon boy would think, ladies and gentlemen, right? This isn't some moon boy that's going to cry, oh, Don, I got wrecked again, Kirby, wrecked again. This is me. One, I've been shorting, so I'm making profit on the way down. Shout out to my VIPs. You guys know I've kept you updated with all my shorts here. I've also, this is an old short. It was the move before this, but I've been shorting the trend. I've been absolutely crushing it right now. But the fact of the matter is here is that if we are going to correct down to that 0.618, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that for Bitcoin, this could be so incredibly healthy. I want to go back now to the BLX here. This could be so incredibly healthy, in my opinion, because of the fact that if this was our first cycle and we pop, right, even if we go down, even down into this region, right, which is a little below the box, if we can get back in this rough vicinity here and chop around, even if the 0.618 acts as a resistance for a little while, right? This, to me, my friends, would be so healthy for the macro trend because, one, we've broken out of our bear market resistance zone, which was a crazy feat in and of itself. Two, we have our over-exuberant, euphoric bull rally, right, which brings us up through all the phases of a market cycle, the belief, the thrill, the euphoria, etc. And then we pop, but we now build new support above old resistance, which kept us inside our bear market. Ladies and gentlemen, this would be absolutely healthy and beautiful here, in my opinion, as somebody that will be looking to speculate largely to the upside here, because if this market cycle took us up to 14,000 with a base built at 3,000, what is the possibilities here? What are the possibilities here if we build our base now between 7,000 and 6,000? Let's get this crypto. Because if we build a base there, it would in fact then be higher lows, right? Inherently bullish. And if we climb up to a new high, ladies and gentlemen, that is textbook bull market. Higher lows on a macro level, and then higher highs on a macro level. At that point, this is where I would start to speculate new all-time high, right? For me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at this market very realistically. You guys know, I plan to crush the market like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can, day in and day out, 24/7. I trade the market both to the upside and to the downside. I have no bias in either direction. I just look at this as unbiased as possible with realistic expectations here, right? And the fact of the matter is that for me right now, I see that there's potential here that we could see some more downside action here. The bears do in fact look like they are in control right now. In fact, if we go over to the RSI here on the weekly time frame, I just want to point this out too, that a ton of times that we've tested to this relative area here in the overbought region on the weekly RSI, we've tested back down into this box here, a nice confluence box here, and I actually drew a yellow line through the middle just to really sum up the average of this, something like a median line or a heart line, right? And we're currently about 15% away from that median line, right? 15% from the median line, and more so about 18 to 19% from the bottom of the box that I have drawn here. So I do see that even from this metric here, there could be some more room to the downside. Maybe to fill that gap at 8,500, potentially maybe even overshoot it. And if we do now look at the NVT here as well, we all know, ladies and gentlemen, that this indicator here has been absolutely ludicrous in calling tops and bottoms for Bitcoin throughout its history. And for the first time in quite some time now, we have traded below this mean line here at 150, which is the yellow line up here. We are seeing sustained trading action below this region now, and the past 2 times that this has happened, we've dropped 50% and 74% in this indicator. Let's get this crypto. Of course, past performance is not indicative of future results, but right now, this is also just another chip that I'm throwing on the table here to show the bearish confluence, right? Also, if we go over to the crypto fear and greed index now, we are still sustaining very fearful territory. You guys know many traders love to look at this as a contrarian indicator, and I don't fault them for that, because in a regular trend, I do see this as a better contrarian indicator than a pure organic one. But right now, since we've been what, in my opinion, has the potential to be a euphoric blow-off top, bubble pop market cycle, I've been using this indicator here as a pure organic one, which has worked beautifully for me as I went long all the way up, right? I started longing around the $8,000 region all the way up to 14,000 using this indicator here to see if the greed was being sustained, because in my opinion, in order for the greed and the euphoric parabola to continue, the greed would have needed to remain extremely high, which it did. And now that we're seeing this metric take a shift and a turn to the downside here with sustained fearful ratings, for me, I'm starting to see now that this is what's looking to me like the parabola has ended. Because if the greed and the euphoria is not sustaining, my friends, that is textbook what you see at the end of a market cycle. And that's usually before a large leg of capitulation. Now, that's just a hypothesis. I'm not saying that's guaranteed to happen or anything like that. I'm playing it by ear, day by day, right? Swing by swing, right? Don Carbonaccio, crushing this market like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can. And just so you understand what I'm talking about, swing by swing here, right? So whatever happens, happens. Let's go over to this chart here. Whatever happens, happens. But for me, I'm playing each swing, right? And this was one of my trades here. Shout out to my VIPs. You guys know I kept you updated with my trade here. I took a short from 10,979, another one from 10,879. This was this swing right here, right? I shorted up in my resistance box, and I wound up closing all down in this region, right? So I took a short here, took my profits down here. Let's get this crypto. Then, as we started to float back up into this region, you best believe Don Carbonaccio was looking to short here once again. I shorted up in this region. This is my short ladder here, right? All the way up, nearly to the tippy top, right? And now we've since just been absolutely declining to the downside on an inverse moon, and I've been reaping the rewards of that right now. And if we rise here, I'm going to wind up taking profits on the rest of my position. I've already been taking some profits down here. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful profits here on this trade. Shout out to my VIPs. You guys know I've kept you updated with my trades here all along the way. Let's get this crypto. But yes, so you see, right? If we continue to drop, I'm going to look to add to my positions here. If we rise, I'm going to take my profit, reevaluate, and get in a new position. And I will be keeping you all updated with my positions in VIP. Shout out to all of my new future VIPs joining VIP right now after this video. I will see you in VIP right now. Let's get this crypto. I'd also just almost forgot to mention here, ladies and gentlemen, the Bitcoin Google Trends data worldwide. Past 5 years, right? This accounts for, you know, all of the bubble, all of it, right? What we're seeing here as well is that we are starting to lose significant momentum with the partial data here showing us that we are going to roughly be at a 13 here for this month, and our recent high was a 26. Meaning essentially we've lost 50% of the Google trend volume here in the past month. Not what I wanted to see, ladies and gentlemen, at all. Not at all. So right now, it's very interesting where we're at. I do believe that there's sentiment for that market cycle, bubble pop, as I've shown you all. And just briefly, once again, my targets here are going to be that 8,500 gap fill potential with the overshot target of the Fibonacci 0.618 here, this whole range ranging anywhere from between 7,100 potentially down to 6,000 or even as high as 8,500, right? This whole area has a lot of significant confluence for me here. But either way, you don't want to just be blindly shorting. You don't want to be blindly longing. What you want here is a sound strategy, both to the downside and to the upside. And my friends, I do not fail to plan. I plan for every scenario. I plan multiple strategies, both to the long side and to the downside. And I'm going to be keeping you all updated with my strategies in real time, my entries, my exits, my targets, my take profits, everything exclusively for you in VIP. So shout out to my VIPs and shout out to all of my new future VIPs joining VIP right now after this video. I will see you in VIP right now. Let's get this crypto. And my friends, that is going to wrap it up here. Let's see, we've covered pretty much everything, right? We've covered the market cycle. We've covered the altcoin market. Keep that in mind. If people you know right now are not aware of this altcoin cycle looking very, very similar here to what Bitcoin is looking like in terms of where it could potentially go, right? Let's look just one last time here. Share this with them, ladies and gentlemen. As we see here, the altcoins have been front-running Bitcoin in this market cycle, right? On the way up, they ran first and they ran the hardest. And now they are dumping the hardest. And we've already seen that this has reached the 0.618 Fibonacci here. So is Bitcoin going to follow along? we're going to have to wait and see. Either way, it's something that's on my radar right now, and I do believe that the trading opportunities looming ahead here are potentially going to be life-changing. So I'm looking to strike upon them like a cobra out of the grass and get this crypto. And I will be keeping you all updated in VIP with every single trade I make. Right now, speculating to the downside has been absolutely prosperous for me here. Been absolutely crushing this market like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can. And guys, I am going to keep you all updated in VIP with every single trade I make here moving forward. I can only do these streams here on YouTube once per day, but in VIP, I'm alerting with every trade, every strategy, etc. that I take for you exclusively in VIP 24/7. So if you'd like to see all of my exclusive VIP trades, etc., that is where you can get them. I will see you all in VIP right now. Shout out to all of my new future VIPs joining VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto. And guys, if you could, one last time, moon up the likes, moon them up, smash those thumbs, click the subscribe button, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Like I said, share this around in your chats and your socials, etc. Let's see what everybody's thinking here about the altcoin cycle. But either way, I'm ready to crush it and get this crypto. So I will see you all in VIP right now. Let's get this crypto. Until next time, my friends, the Don has spoken. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. It's your boy, Crypto Kirby. Peace and love, my friends. Curbs.